Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We're keeping it PC this morning with Justin Englebright from State Farm Insurance. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. We haven't had a Keep It PC segment for a little bit, and I'm excited to be talking about something I know just a tiny bit about, insurance. But I think that for a lot of people, it can be a confusing, form of protection, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
So first of all, let's get a little bit of background. You just moved up to Park City not too long ago, about a year or so ago. Is that right?
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So the agency has been established here for 20 plus years. Dottie Boardman had the agency before. And I took the agency about a year ago, so established clientele. Justin Englebright Insurance and Financial Services. We do a wide variety of insurance and financial services product, from auto and home and life, health insurance, and been here about a year. So,
you mentioned something we probably we'll delve into a little more, but just for the sake of kind of giving a little precursor here, you mentioned financial services.
Okay.
A lot of insurance has a component as well that is a financial service as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we specialize. We have a life insurance company. We do some health insurance as well. So financial services is a big part of what we do in our agency.
Excellent. So tell us a little about your history. You've been in the business for as long as this local facility has been open. You've been doing it for more than 20 years too.
Yeah, 20 years plus in the industry. Had an agency in Alpine. Worked in the Salt Lake area for a long period of time. So excited to be in Park City. This is where we want to be the rest of our life, and just very excited to be here.
That's awesome. It's important to consider. I mean, we get a lot of people that are starting in that industry, and sure, we want to support people, but the truth of it is, at least for me, I want to know that whoever I'm dealing with my insurance understands it in and out. Because if you make a mistake as an insurance agent, it can be a critical, costly error for the client.
There's no doubt about it, and there's a lot of issues in this Park City market. You have to get it right. One of the things that I think is very important is the cost of construction of homes in this area has really significantly gone up, and so taking the time to make sure that a home is adequately protected is one of the things we really every day we're faced with, and we take extreme caution and measures to make sure we do it right for our customers.
You make a good point, because to build a home, especially if it's somewhere, or rebuild a home, let's be more specific. If you're up here on Main Street and you lose a Main Street home or one of these others, the cost to replace that is about double what it would be anywhere else in Salt Lake City or Utah, for that matter.
It's a unique market, and I think it's better served with someone that's local, that knows the cost of construction. Homes that were $100 to $200 a square foot, maybe in the valley, or $300, $400, $500 a square foot to rebuild up here, and so we feel confident in our understanding of the market and what's going on with construction, and we make sure our customers are well taken care of.
Yeah, you want to make sure, because can you imagine you lose your home and then you find out that the coverage isn't going to pay to build it all again. That would be a horrible situation to be in, and it does happen to people. So that's one arm of it, certainly, is the protection of your home, but there are so many other things we talked about. For instance, you've got personal coverage, your health coverage, life, and there's lots of different kinds, and there's where people really get confused. Tell us about some of the other kinds of policies you write.
Well, being a State Farm agent, I'm a captive agent. That's really what we do, is just State Farm products. State Farm, the largest auto insurer in the country, largest homeowner insurer in the country. So we do those products very well. But most people don't know that we also have more life insurance policies in force than anyone else in the country.
Wow.
And so, whether it's life insurance or a health insurance product like disability, long-term care, those are areas that we really try to ask those additional questions, because we find that most people don't pay enough attention to those other issues, and unfortunately those things are important, and things happen in life, and things are untimely deaths, untimely injuries at work, what have you, and so we just want to be there when those things happen, and so we ask the questions of our clients to make sure that they've thought through those.
Yeah, it's important.
Are protected. It's very important.
When you think about some of the questions that you might ask here in Park City, you might not ask everywhere else, is that everybody up here, it seems, has an airplane
Right.
or if they don't have an airplane, they like to play polo on horseback,
Yeah.
or equestrian, or something like that, where there's some risks, or or maybe they're just maybe they like to jump out of airplanes, or climb, do some free climbing, things like that.
Yeah.
These things all have got to be considered, because some insurance policies won't cover that stuff.
Sure, yeah, and it's a neat community because it's a very active community.
Right.
People are very healthy, they're very engaged and active, but some of those activities have inherently some risk that goes along with them, and so it's important to just think about that. It's important to think about, do I have things in place in case something happens?
Yeah, absolutely. You never want something catastrophic to happen, then leave people behind and they're in a lurch because your policy isn't covering it.
Right.
That's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Let's talk about, for a moment, we kind of got into it a little bit, but these other types of policies that are available on your life. There are a couple of different kinds. There's whole life, there's, what are the other names?
Yeah, so I kind of divide life insurance into two categories.
Okay.
Term insurance, temporary insurance, which it's a great, tremendous way to cover your life. It's very inexpensive. And permanent insurance, like whole life policies, universal life policies that can be more permanent in nature. And so, when we talk with clients about life insurance per se, we just teach them and educate them about the different options and let the client choose, because every client has their own sort of idea as to what's most suitable for them. And we feel as long as they make an educated choice and they know what they're purchasing, that's the best choice for them.
Indeed. Well, when somebody starts to look at some of these things, they can get a little overwhelmed. They can get a little anxious.
Right.
Actuary tables and things scare people.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about how you're able to mitigate that a little bit.
Well, I've done a lot of industry education, and so I try to make the technical easy and just make sure I educate in a way that's understandable in layman's terms.
Okay.
And so, but you're right. Insurance is very technical. It's very it's a sophisticated service. It's a hard to understand thing, and so dealing with a professional is important. Someone that can take the complicated and make it sound fairly easy to understand. And that's kind of that is what we do in our agency. We make the thing that sounds very complicated because we have a good understanding of it, and we can kind of present it and educate it in a simple way.
When I was looking at insurance way back when and kind of getting my understanding of it, you're right. It seems so simple at the outset. And it gets so complicated in the long run. But when you look at the basic premise behind insurance is that you and I and our friends that we involve ourselves with share the risk of a possibility of something happening. And as I understand it correctly, it started really with farmers. People that were like, I'm hauling my milk to town, I lose a wheel on the cart, and I lose some of my milk, or all of my milk. And now I have no livelihood for the year, or for that month. What am I going to do? And it was people would give, in that situation, would often give a little bit of their money as a group to that person to help them survive. And that is how insurance really started. Is that pretty accurate?
So spreading risk is the fundamental tenet of insurance. And instead of having to, if your home burns down, pay for that loss, if you can spread that risk amongst 1,000, 2,000 or more people so that everyone's paying a little bit, that's what represents a premium. And so it's a great way to manage risk. And that's really what insurance does, is it helps people manage the risks of everyday life. And so if something catastrophic happens, that there's someone there that can pick them up and help them put their life back together.
Yeah, when you think of it, it's a kind of a neat industry when you think about how we're all helping each other.
It's a very honorable career. I've been so blessed to be in it. I've done it for 20 years. My father was an agent for 35 years, and so it's a family business. But I love what I do. I love people. I love the company I represent, and I'm very, very fortunate to be here in Park City, one of the most beautiful and friendly places that I've ever lived in my life.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here and that you're available to help people. If they want to get in touch with you, how do they do so?
So we're located 1887 Gold Dust.
Okay.
The office number is 435-649-3332. And www.justinenglebright.com takes you to my website. And I certainly appreciate the opportunity to chat with you this morning.
Well, you're keeping it PC here locally and helping out the locals. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Helping us spread out a little of that risk.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep the risk kind of low.
Yes,
right?
keep it
We'll
low.
take a commercial break and keep it low risk right here on the Mountain Range. She'll be right back.